everyone. My name is Dawn Brolin. I'm a certified public accountant, a certified fraud examiner, the president of Powerful Accounting, Inc., and the author of The Designated Motivator for Accounting Professionals. And I'm here today just to talk to you briefly about an awesome inventory app called Fishbowl. What I love about Fishbowl is its ability to sync seamlessly with QuickBooks Enterprise. And what's even better about it is we as accounting professionals don't always have to be the best at everything. I find that, if you think about softball, which is what I always like to talk about, not everybody's a great pitcher. Not everybody's a great outfielder. And so as accounting professionals, we all find those areas of accounting that we are really good at and that we are really passionate at and we love. I love my clients, but I don't want to have to implement an inventory system for my clients. It's not in my what I call wheelhouse, okay? But what's great about Fishbowl is they have someone on their team named Beverly Lang, and Beverly is an accounting professional. And so she's able to make sure that the inventory system is set up properly and that most importantly, the accounting is done and the integration from Fishbowl inventory into the QuickBooks Enterprise system is seamless and accurate. So myself as the accounting professional, I want to make sure I'm referring the best of breed solutions for my clients, especially when I don't have my hands in on that. And so I trust Beverly and I trust Fishbowl that they're going to do the job right. I've seen it firsthand. If you want good inventory, great inventory, easy implementation, and have someone who knows the accounting side of it, Fishbowl's your solution. Thanks for listening. Hey, thanks everybody, and welcome to the DM Disruption, where we're here to change and transform accounting practices and practitioners across the whole world and helping them get their organization under control. And one of the things that we're really excited about is just helping each person however we can. And we're hoping with the podcast that we're going to give you great motivational information, what's happening now, those kind of things. But most importantly, just to have a nice conversation with a guy like Seth Fineberg from AccountingWEB. So Seth, thank you so much for coming today. But we were just kind of chit-chatting. We were talking about the shirt, the jersey. It's so fun, isn't it? It's a nice jersey too. This is not a cheesy or cheap jersey. And so today, this episode is brought to you by Fishbowl, an awesome inventory system. It's like, for me, my whole thing is that my starting lineup is all about applications or solutions that actually provide a solution. And it's not just hogwash. It's, listen, let's get these people who have inventory issues, right? Either theft, lost, whatever, or just keeping track of their inventory so that they know what their asset value is. I mean, for goodness sakes, people, we're doing accounting so people can take the information and timely information, not, we've got to enter stuff from 2 months ago. No, it's real-time integrated solutions that work for you as a firm or for your clients in solutions like I don't have an inventory need, but that's who I recommend when it comes to inventory because they just got to figure it out. But Seth, introduce yourself. Tell me about Seth Fineberg. I mean, I know you, but other people may not.
We do. We go back. Well, hello. For those who don't know me, or even for those who do, you're going to get a review. I'm Seth Fineberg. I am the editorial manager and U.S. team lead for AccountingWEB. So, which basically means, I oversee all of the words and all of the content and everything we're putting out on AccountingWEB. Ultimately goes through me. AccountingWEB has been a brand dedicated to accounting professionals specifically. So if you run a practice or you're a big cheese in a practice or you are making decisions within a practice, whether you're a sole prac or particularly, small firms, small to mid-sized firms, you are our audience and have been for the last 20 years. I've been at the helm here for about 6.5 years. Some of you may also know me from back in my day as a technology editor at Accounting Today. So I've been covering accounting for nearly 20 years now in my career as a business journalist, which spans a little over 30 years at this point. And,
wow.
Your accountants are a great, great bunch of people. And you realize how much, especially as a business journalist, I've always been motivated and inspired by what makes business work. I've never had like a business background. I have more of a journalist head, but getting into the world of business, finding out what makes it work, you realize behind every good business is an accountant or an accounting professional. They truly are in your corner. And, if you're not People like Dawn are here to help you with successful practices and tools that she had learned as a practitioner herself to,
Right.
make things really work and help you, kind of keep pace. You don't all have to be these big, rock stars, superstars, superheroes. Um, you may be to your clients, but you don't have to necessarily be, the most advanced accountant or bookkeeper in the world. Most of you and the folks that I talk to, they just want to get through the day. They want to get through the season. They want to know that they're doing things right and they want to do right by their staff and of course their clients. And,
Hmm.
so they all know they can be better. So they listen to podcasts like this, they read our pages to get inspired, to feel like there's hope for them and some direction out there for them. And that's what we do day in and day out. So thanks for
That's
having
a
me.
Oh my goodness, that's such a perfect description of encapsulates maybe everything I've ever thought of in a great summary. That's why you're a journalist. You see, I could go out there and I could pound the keyboard with the best of them, right? Get out there, bang, bang, bang.
You do,
But
you
you
do.
just said that so eloquently, and it's so
Yeah,
true, Seth. And you're seeing obviously as the man in charge at Accounting Web and knowing and seeing practitioners either commenting on articles that you're putting out, or if you're paying attention to social media, you see what
very much.
the struggles are in the accounting profession. And especially right now, we've talked to a few on the show. James Upton is one, for instance. There's a couple of others that we've had on to just say, hey, listen, what are you struggling with right now? And where are you at? Because we are seeing the struggle. So, the designated motivator for accounting professionals, which is coming soon, we're focused 100% on exactly, Seth, what you're doing in the world of journalism and getting out ongoing publications and articles from all kinds of
Hmm.
amazing practitioners right for you. So
Hmm.
it's not just like fish bowls coming on and they're just, talking about their product, but you're having other professionals come in and write about people like Fishbowl to say, listen,
Very
that's
much.
they're going to tell you what they understand about what they can do for your clients and solve for things. But the practitioners are the ones who say, hey, listen, you're going to start using this particular solution. And it's because I vetted the solution. I'm either using it myself because I'm a practitioner, I own a firm, and I'm a business owner, just like my clients, which is what I love to say to
Mhm.
them, right? And so, what types of things, current events are you seeing in the industry right now that you would say, pay attention to this or that?
There's really so much, right now, Dawn, and I don't want to beat a dead horse
Yeah.
over, just the true disruption that the pandemic has had. But I think even before that, I think really what it did was it just brought to light how better connected we could all be,
Yeah.
how much of a work-life balance that practitioners could and should really have,
Hmm.
and also that there's tools out there to just, again, not make you like, the biggest, rock star in the world, but to just deal with your everyday problems and issues that you're facing, from onboarding and staffing to just, dealing with, basic cash flow, and dealing with, just your basic work, that your own workflow in your own firm, and handling client issues. I mean, it's, you've what I've seen over particularly the past year and a half is accountants and bookkeepers, even the smallest of them out there, which, by the way, is very much everyone's talking about the big four, the big 10, the big 50, the big 500, this or that. Then there's everybody else. There
Hmm.
is the small practitioner, the sole practitioner, the folks that are in the corner of individuals and businesses every single day. And they're the ones that were hurting the most and were
Yeah.
looking most to their accountants. So there has been a large call, I'd say, over the last 5 or 6 years to, to be better, do better, be more, all these things, and I don't think it's really resonated, as well as, those who were delivering the message would prefer, and a
Right.
lot of it is because a lot of that message, no offense to the vendors, but a lot of it was coming from them or folks who were paid by them to have this message. And practitioners,
Right.
as they're very, and accountants by nature, they're very skeptical.
Sure.
They're paid to have that level of skepticism, that, that analytical nature that's in every accountant, every good accountant. Um, and it's like you're not telling me why, and you're also not telling me
Right.
how as much.
Mm, right.
And so that all of that over the last 5 years, I think, has bubbled to a head to where we were in kind of in a national emergency for,
Mm-hmm.
particularly for small businesses who are like, this is my life. Like
Right.
I want to be able to pay my employees. I want to be able to stay in business. How do I
Mm-hmm.
do that? And
Right.
accountants were right there. They were like kind of, they were like the emergency room doctors. They have
Mm-hmm.
your financials, they have your charts, they have, everything at their fingertips, but, some of them, maybe didn't have all of the right tools to
Right.
stay connected with their staff, to stay connected with their clients in real time.
Right.
And so the things that were kind of getting pushed off over the few years because maybe the narrative was just a little more to like beating me over the head versus I'm on your
Right.
side. And that's what we
Right.
try to do every day too. And by having a lot of our tone sort of come from other practitioners and people in the know, people who are doing and living it every day
Mm-hmm.
by saying, look, we're on your side here. And I
Right.
think vendors are starting to get that message more too. But
Yeah, I
not
think
to go
that's
on too much
key.
of a tangent, but I think there's several things that kind of bubbled into one, and it's that there are tools available now and have been available for several years already that
Right.
have been vetted, that have been proven, that are there to help
Right.
you just do
Get it done.
everything to get it done. And then, also, yeah, maybe be a rock star, be a savior in the eyes of
Yeah.
your clients. And
Yeah.
uh, I'm sorry that it took a bit of a crisis
I
for that
know.
to motivate, to push, practitioners to do this. But they
Right.
still need help on their own too.
Yeah,
And so
definitely.
you're
Yep.
doing great work on that front, Dawn, by just
Yeah,
saying,
well,
"Look,
it's just
let's get
yeah.
real, for a minute here, and just, this is also a process too. You don't have to do everything yesterday." But
Right. Right.
it's been
And I
out there
think
for a
that
while.
yeah, and it's been fire hosy. It's like the way I
Yeah,
describe it.
big
Like
time,
it's
big time.
like
It's too much.
it's too much. There's so many apps that are out there. There are a ton of great apps. What I found to be what my laser focus was, I want to make sure that my app's integrated. I don't want to do double work. I don't want to enter things twice. I don't want to, oh, did I put it over here? Did I put it in this system? No. When I put it in one, it sends it to everybody. And then everybody knows who that person is or that client.
Push a
And
button,
it
make it
just
work.
push a button. And
I
when
don't wanna
you
know
can
from an API. What?
exactly. Like it's like anybody that has, I'll call it fragmented application usage. Fragmented, of course, right? Meaning just I've got this over here and this is over here, but this doesn't talk to this, so we got to put it in. But like that, those days are so far gone,
Yeah.
right? And
Doug
so I
Sleater
think
called it chunkification
he did
back
call it
then.
chunkification. And you know what?
That's
I didn't buy into that word in the beginning. I'm like, Doug, what are you
But
talking about, man? But you know what?
but that's what it
He
was.
was right.
That's
And
what
he
it
was
was.
right. That's what it was. And it's just like it's so I like the way I am trying to structure this whole concept of the designated motivator and saying, listen, number one, like you said, Seth, and it is totally key. These smaller firms, they're either sole props, or they've got 4 or 5 staff or 5 to 10. A
Yeah,
lot of times, those are the practitioners who don't have a partner typically, so they're
yeah.
they're running their
Well,
own firm, or they may have one.
maybe they got one. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they got one. And it's like they do rely on each other. But sometimes I just find that, listen, I knew I needed to go out there and listen to the people who I knew are actually in there doing stuff.
Mhm.
People like Heather Satterley, people like Hector Garcia, people like Stacy Kildall, Liz
Rock
Scott,
stars,
Mariette
absolute rock
Martinez.
stars.
I mean, all these people. So what's happened is there's those of us who have fallen on our faces, but we're determined to get back up and say, you know what? I tried that app. It didn't work for me. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. We said, no, we're not going to do that. We found an app. We tried to make it work. We tried it.
Right.
We're the kings and queens of workarounds, right?
Mhm.
And so we tried to do that. And it was like, you know what? As the technology grew, we didn't have to do that anymore. We knew we could go to an application and say, does it work with this? And don't say it works with it. This was one of the misconceptions. oh, I work with QBO or I work with QuickBooks Desktop. And then at the end of the day, didn't work for crap. So it's
Right.
like, and I
Or it
think
didn't
that
nothing it didn't flow in the right way, and you're like, "Wait a minute, I've got stuff over here, I got stuff over here."
right, like this
That
isn't
was
making
that was a
sense.
big thing that I would hear, was just when you push that button for everything to flow in, and it's just like, "What just happened?" Like, "I don't want that
Exactly.
here," or, "I
Yep.
don't wanna have to go over" yeah, you know.
Yeah, and I mean that was the whole thing. So like I was just trying to tell people, listen. It's just like that. It's like people like history or don't like history. It's irrelevant. But if you watch people who have gone from, I've been in this for 23 years. Stacy Kildall, same thing. Like Mariette Martinez, all those guys. People,
Mhm,
we're out there figuring it out. So why try to recreate what we know works? And
mhm,
we know it works because we use it.
yep.
I always say, my big thing is if
Yeah,
it's an
you weren't paid
application that
by
I
some
should be,
vendor, like, you have a practice. All these
yeah.
individuals that you mentioned, it's like, guess what? They're in business for themselves too. They have
Mhm.
practices that they're trying to run, and they have other mouths that they're trying to feed, and they're trying to have businesses that they're trying to help too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, one of the biggest things for me, and I would just say this to just as a broad comment, is that
Mhm.
most important thing to me when it comes to an application is their customer service. If their customer
Yeah.
service sucks, I am out
Out.
because
Never come back.
and it's not even like I don't even, it's more of, oh, something glitchy happened, which does happen. And I'm like, I don't want to wait in line. I don't want to be the 700th person. I need to get this solved so I can move on with whatever it is I'm doing.
Mhm.
And so, and we've gone through and just pounded the vendors, pounded them. Give me what
Yep.
I want. Give me what I want. And
Yep.
they
Yep.
are getting it. They're getting it. It's not just about that application that you're providing. That's wonderful. But listen, we're going to be your biggest cheerleaders if you're doing it the right way and you're giving us service that we deserve and need. Right.
Right.
And I think, that's a lot of that stuff. So let's shift just for a hot second.
Sure.
So thinking about just as you're seeing on social media, kind of the activity that's out there, if you were
Mhm.
to pick two major pain points that you see practitioners having today, what would those two pain points be? I like two because it's smaller than three, in case you didn't know.
Yeah, that's
I
that's good.
just, I like
I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
always trying to
Well,
educate.
one big thing, and this is, because, bookkeepers also work with the tax pros, or some are CPAs, and they do, they have a bookkeeper in their practice, and they
Hmm.
also do a lot of tax.
Right.
Either way, you both have to keep up with, uh, you know, the compliance environment. And
Yeah.
again, over the past year, I'm not saying every year it's always something. It's always something
It's
with
always
tax
something.
with the tax code, or the way you file something, or there's a new form, or there's a change to a form, something,
Yeah.
but now with all of the loans that the government in particular has put out to help out businesses and individuals,
Hmm.
over the past year and a half, now all of a sudden it's time to account for all of that. Keeping pace has
Hmm.
really kind of come to a head, and and then the guidance itself
Oh.
just keeps changing, and they're like, I feel for these practitioners who are literally ready to pull their hair out
Hmm.
over, like, it's like, look, and they're trying to, they're on the phone with the IRS for hours, just trying to get through, just give me,
Hmm.
something, and I got my clients in my ear just going, I don't know. This I see constantly.
Mm.
And you feel for people, they're really in tears, they're ready to just go into a hole and cry and never come
Yes.
out. Like, it's that painful, it's that real, because they're just you're in charge of other people's lives too, and
Hmm.
and you're trying to also run your own practice and do, as people paying me money, and putting, their time in, and I'm putting extra hours in, um,
Hmm.
and if only I had the tools for that job to do it. Now, I'm not saying technology is the answer to everything, but there's a lot
Yep.
out there that you might not know that's gonna make a lot of that pain go away,
A
because
hundred
it
percent.
takes care of it. And my God, if you were in the world of sales tax, God bless you for being in that world, that living
Oh.
hell of
Oh.
keeping track of every little thing that, so say you have a retailer in any, that's doing business in, I don't know, handful of states. They're not too big.
Sure.
They got, we sell into maybe a dozen states, something like that.
Hmm.
You have to be on top of everything in those states
Right.
because of the beauty of economic nexus.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's such a wonderful world, economic nexus. And these are things too that, eventually, bookkeepers who are in the financials and they know sort of what kind, how the business is going. Like this is another area where tools can sort of take a lot of that pain away. But this is probably the biggest. And then I guess if you want to put in a third, and there've been tons of reports already recently released about this too. Staffing.
Yeah.
How do you get the right people to deal with all this? This is something that we've talked about it coming. It's coming. There's going to be a natural aging out of the profession. Guess what?
Yeah. It's even worse.
It's here. Over the next 5 years, Dawn, there
Mm,
are going to be, and this isn't our generation, this is the ones who are just above us, the boomers,
yeah. The
folks who
boomers.
are ready to sign out and just they're just ready to lock it up, throw away the keys. They haven't built any value in their practice. They
Yep.
haven't,
They're
they
like,
haven't been able. They can't sell it. What are you going to do? Maybe sell your client base. Okay, fine. Now you got to deal with onboarding these new clients, and you need staff who are, maybe have skills that are outside. That maybe you haven't been brought up as an accountant. Maybe you're
right,
in another profession. Maybe marketing. Well, I don't know.
right.
You know, how do I deal with that? Even as a small firm, um, and I'm growing. And then there's a lot of folks too that kind of jump ship from the, people maybe who are around our age bracket or even a little younger that did their time already at a large regional or a big firm. They've jumped
Yep.
out on their own. So a lot of these
They're done.
entrepreneurial accountants, and they're trying to grow their practice. How do I hire that talent and get the right
Absolutely.
people and get them to stay? So that's kind of, those are the three biggies right now. Keeping
You've
on top of
absolutely nailed
compliance,
it. Hmm.
hiring the right people, and just knowing even just what tools are right for me. Like, because you have plenty of the profession who maybe poo-pooed it 5 years ago. They're now going,
Yep.
I'm ready to listen, but I
I'm
don't know where
ready.
to start.
Exactly.
I don't know where to start.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things in the book that's going to be really awesome is we have a full assessment. No matter where you are, whether you're just getting started, you've been in this for 20 years, you've been in it for 10, you've been in it for 30. Like you said, you've been at a big corporate, you're leaving. I see a lot of that. I join a bunch of Facebook groups and I read through them regularly to just see what's going on out there. And you're right. We're seeing people starting up new firms of their own. And yeah, trying to hire people. Like, where do you even start when you've got the HR package and all that? And then it's so important. IRS, okay? Like you were saying, trying to get through. And I know there's a big mixed bag of emotions out on social media about NQ, call NQ. And I'm just going to
Mhm.
tell you right now, I use it. I'm not ashamed to use it. Do you know why? Because is it right or wrong to get into the queue and hold up the queue and all this other stuff? I don't know enough about that, but I can tell you what I have to do is I need to get my crap done for my clients. And if it means using a service like that to get me through faster so I can get my job done, then I'm doing it. Right? I'm
Do
not
you,
gonna.
do you not have, like, TSA pre-check? Do you not have clear? Do you not have these things? Priority check-in, whatever. Here we are. And guess what? You're just trying to get a job done. You're not necessarily cutting anyone off. You're like, I'm a practitioner. I have one question I need clarity on. I'm going to get in,
Right.
I'm going to get out. That's what I need. I don't need to wait an hour and a half. Do that.
Exactly. Not doing it. So at call and queues one. Then the other one I want to talk about were actually there's two solutions and people, like one versus the other or whatever, doesn't matter. For pulling transcripts, because it sucks online. Go into e-services, it's archaic, dinosaurs still live there. I don't understand it. So, I use tax help software and Canopy. Those are two great solutions for pulling transcripts. As a matter of fact, some people think, oh, I don't know if my client's given me all of their income documents from 2020. Well, if you wait till about mid-May, you can go and pull their wage and income transcripts and make sure that whatever they've given you for documents, you haven't missed something. Because the last thing you want is for your clients to be like, oh, you didn't, I got a notice because you didn't, there was some, maybe some stock transactions, whatever, and they didn't give me the paperwork because that happens all the time because they don't
Right.
pay attention, which is fine. That's what I'm there for. But I could pull the transcript, at least say, oh, looks like you have Ameritrade. Hey, where are your Ameritrade statements? I need basis and stuff like that. Maybe it wasn't reported to the IRS and it's not on the transcript. So it's like set yourself up for success to make your job easier, and so
That's what
transcript
it's all about.
solutions and call in queue. That's, dude, I charge my clients for all that stuff. I'm sorry, the IRS doesn't pay me. right? And it's not my fault that your refund got held
Right.
up.
This
And
is the
so,
value of you. This is what you pay, where you put it in as a fixed
exactly.
fee or a subscription or whatever.
Yep.
This is what you're
Hmm.
getting from Powerful Accounting, right?
And I make calls for you. You're all set. And yeah, so I think that but I love this conversation because it's really what the whole point of the Designated Motivator for Accounting Professionals book. It's what it's about. It's about giving you solutions. Listen, I know my roadmap works. I know my roadmap has allowed us to do, we're at $500,000 in
Because
seven
you
and a half
you
months.
drove that road. You
I
drove
just,
that path.
I
You were on
did.
it. You mapped it out.
I mapped it, I wrote it all out, and I said, oh, wow, I think I know what I'm doing. Maybe I could share this with other people. That's the whole point. And I think just like, you're doing regular, ongoing, I mean, we're doing content too, but, you're telling the story and
That's
throwing it out there, Seth. And that's
it.
what I think is most important. But so we try to keep this between 20 and 30 minutes. So
Sure.
I guess I want to get just kind of a little bit about Seth, a little bit about Seth.
Me.
I know you're coaching your son in baseball and he's kicking
2
butt. You
cents.
guys are doing two sons, and that's awesome. So just tell us a little bit about that so people could get the feels from Seth Fineberg. Come on.
Well, sure. I mean, look, I was never much of a jock, growing up. I was kind of a loner kid, what have you. But growing up in kind of a suburban town, sooner or later, you just do like what your friends are doing, and baseball was a big deal. Growing up in my town in New Jersey,
Yep.
and so I got into it. I got into Little League, and I just, I became a fan of the game. I collected cards and what have you, and it's just something that always stuck with me. And then, even later than life, I just, I was never like a sports fan. I don't follow very much other sports other than baseball. And so
Right.
when I became a father, and I, eventually had two boys, and even if I had two girls, whatever, it never
Sure.
mattered to me. I had kids,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to see what they were into. But they always knew mom and dad. And, my wife is also an enormous baseball fan as much as I am,
That's awesome.
particularly the Yankees. I'm sorry. This is where we grew
Ugh.
up in New York. She was born 11 blocks from the stadium. Sorry.
Oh,
She grew up
whatever,
grew up in the
Seth.
Bronx,
Whatever.
grew up in Detroit. But anyways,
That's
got my
funny.
kids into the game. To me, it's baseball, Yankees, everything else. So baseball first. But,
That's
my team is my
awesome.
team, your team is your team. You
You
gotta
got it.
support,
That's right.
but
Win or
at any
lose.
at any rate, so that's how I got into it. And then, the kids, I figured, all right, just like any parent would want to do, it's all volunteer around here. This is just a
Right.
local little league team, and all the parents just they pitch in their time, and they're helping their kids as well as, whatever, 10 or 11 other kids who are on the
Yeah.
team too. And I have a head for it. I understand the game. I know, I feel like I can just be like a parent out there and a
Yeah.
coach. My older kid, he needs it, less. I work with him individually, but he's got other coaches that work with him. My younger one is not. He just turned 9, so he's kind of right in that zone where he's just
That's
like
awesome.
still needs dad in his corner. And I
Sure.
just, I just love it. I love the feeling of just sort of being on the side with the kids. And I'm not one of those baseball dads or baseball parents that like loses their mind at like a kid's game. Like I see it
Oh,
happen, and I'm like,
God.
you're
Come
just,
on,
what are you
man.
doing, dude? What are you
Come
doing?
on.
Moms and dads just
Oh, no.
you're
100%.
losing it. And I'm like, I've never yelled at a kid in my life. It's just not.
Yeah.
And I've been coaching now for, I'm going into my 8th year of
That's
coaching,
awesome.
and that's just not how I do. So talk about designated motivator. I always had two rules on my team. Like you're on Coach Seth's team. Coach Seth has two rules. One is have fun. This is a game. Why are you here?
Yes.
You're playing a game. This is, to me, the greatest game in the world. Whatever your
Yeah.
opinions on baseball are, I think it's the greatest game in the world. You're here. Your parents, spent money and time. They put you here. You want to be a part of a team. Second is pay attention. Pay attention to your coaches. Listen to us. We know what we're talking about. Listen to
Yep.
us and listen to your teammates too, because
Yeah.
they're on the field. We're not always on the field. They're there to help
Right.
you. You listen. You pay attention because it's going to keep you safe. Because things happen in an instant. You spend 90% of the time waiting around.
Yep.
Kind of like, kind of like,
Absolutely.
kind of like the IRS, but you got to be ready.
You always
You
got to
got
have your glove ready.
Got it. Got have the glove ready. You're in ready position. Your baseball ready,
Yep.
as we call it. And
Yep.
you're ready to make your move as soon as it happens because you don't know when that's
Yep.
going to be. I don't care if you're playing the deepest outfield or you're right up front. With bases loaded. You have to be ready. And so
Absolutely.
that's why I have those two rules, and I have since the beginning. And
I love
yeah,
that. That's such good stuff. And you relate that to the accounting professional, it's the same
yeah,
thing. We have to always be ready. We never know what's coming next. We've always got to be ready. But I love that about, hey, you're here. Take the moment in now. We talk about in the book what's
be
important
in the
now
moment.
is be in the moment. And we always tell the kids when softball and baseball, same thing, be in your shoes. You see,
Hmm.
because you got to be where you are and
Yeah.
be ready to make a shift and do something different. And it's the
Like, where
same
are you?
thing
Don't
in
go looking at that
business.
other game over there. Don't go be looking down
Yeah.
the.
Don't matter what the other team's score is. That's irrelevant. And actually, we always tell our kids, hey, listen, focus on us. Focus on our Eastern softball. Focus on Eastern. We don't care what the other dugout's doing. We don't care what they think they have, what
Whatever they're
they're doing.
saying, whatever they're doing. Yep.
It's about
Got it.
what we're doing together. And so I think that's the whole, I guess that's a great message for the accounting community. We want to be together, be where we are, know that there are coaches and mentors and people out there that will put their hand down, pull you up and help you through this process. Cause we all had those mentors together, just like Seth, as you're doing coaching with the kids, you're their mentor right now. Right. And they'll remember you forever. Those stories will come much later in life, but they're coming and they will. But Seth, thank you so much for coming on today. Seth
Thanks
Fineberg with
for having
AccountingWEB.
me.
This was awesome. We'll do this again for sure, at least 100 more times, I'm sure, because I got so many more things I want to talk to you about. But we like to keep it short. We want people to be motivated. Thanks again for listening to the DM Disruption. And we're going to come to you next week with some more good stuff. And we're going to keep on just trying to teach you. Reach out to us, dawnbrolin.com. That's what we're here for. Happy to help everybody out. Thank you again, Seth. You're the best, buddy.